Headlines flash across screens worldwide, telling a story of rising tension. A small nation standing up to a giant. Chinese Coast Guard blasts a Philippine vessel with water cannon. Manila condemns dangerous maneuvers near Second Thomas Shoal. The U.S. reaffirms its ironclad commitment to the Philippines. The South China Sea is on edge. Picture a small Philippine supply boat, rusted from salt and sun, making its way to a remote outpost, the BRP Sierra Madre. Suddenly, a much larger vessel appears, the China Coast Guard. A high-pressure water cannon shatters windows, endangering the crew. But the Philippines is no longer standing alone. A global chorus of support is rising. As confrontations grow more frequent, the risk of miscalculation increases. The world is watching. At the center of this shifting landscape is Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. He's steering his nation away from past accommodation of Beijing, strengthening old alliances and forging new ones. The revitalized alliance with the United States is key. The Mutual Defense Treaty now has renewed urgency. Japan is a key security partner, providing patrol vessels and intelligence. Marcos is building a wider coalition. Australia conducts joint patrols, and European nations have sent naval vessels to the region. This growing coalition is the Philippines' greatest asset in defending its sovereignty. Why do countries like Germany or France care about distant islands? The answer: trade. The South China Sea is a vital artery. 1/3 of global shipping, over $3 trillion in trade, passes through each year. Disruption here would send shockwaves through the global supply chain, raising costs and causing shortages worldwide. For export-driven economies like Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, free passage is economic survival. That's why nations far beyond Asia are involved. The UK, Canada, and the Netherlands join the US and others in freedom of navigation operations, challenging excessive claims and asserting international law. These nations aren't picking sides in territorial disputes, but they are defending free passage. The South China Sea is also rich in oil, gas, and fishing grounds, crucial for millions in the region. China's attempts to control these resources threaten the livelihoods of its neighbors. The fight here is about energy, food, and economic survival. The world's prosperity is tied to these waters. That's why the world is watching. The stakes are everyone's. Beyond diplomacy, the South China Sea is a stage for real, physical confrontations. Philippine resupply missions to the BRP Sierra Madre face aggressive Chinese actions, water cannons, dangerous maneuvers, and intimidation. These are not random incidents. They're documented and broadcast by the Philippine Coast Guard, often with journalists on board. Footage shows Chinese ships cutting dangerously close, violating maritime safety and risking disaster. A single miscalculation could trigger a wider military response, especially with U.S. defense commitments in play. It's not just supply missions. Scientific research and fishing are also obstructed. Filipino fishermen, once free to sail these waters, are now chased away by China's maritime militia. Their nets are cut, their catch confiscated, a way of life under threat. These fishermen are on the front lines, facing down a superpower's tactics daily. Their struggle is a powerful symbol of what's at stake. The world sees their courage. The conflict is personal, not just political. The fight for the sea is a fight for survival. In response to aggression, the Philippines has launched a diplomatic offensive. President Marcos Jr. and his team are securing agreements and public support worldwide. Joint patrols with allies like Australia and the US send a powerful signal of solidarity. Japan provides new patrol vessels and surveillance technology. France and other European powers express interest in joining patrols. These activities enhance the Philippines' capacity and act as a visible deterrent. The diplomatic front is just as active. G7, EU, and countries from Canada to the Czech Republic publicly support Manila. Each statement adds to a global consensus rejecting coercion. The Philippines is also strengthening economic and development partnerships, including with Germany and Vietnam. This multi-pronged strategy creates a resilient network of support. The cost for China to continue its campaign is rising. The world is standing with the Philippines. China has watched the growing coalition with alarm, responding with sharp rhetoric and warnings. Beijing claims indisputable sovereignty over nearly the entire South China Sea, dismissing concerns as foreign meddling. Chinese officials warn the Philippines not to rely on external forces, framing the issue as a struggle against American hegemony. State media paints the Philippines as a pawn in a larger geopolitical game. China shadows Allied patrols, broadcasting warnings and maintaining tense proximity. The increased military presence raises the risk of accidental escalation. China draws a red line, refusing to back down. The Philippines and its allies remain undeterred, citing international law and rejecting intimidation. The U.S. reaffirms its right to operate wherever international law allows. The standoff is tense, a high-stakes test of wills. The world is watching every move. At the heart of the dispute is the rule of law. The Philippines anchors its position in international law, especially the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled in favor of the Philippines, declaring China's 9-dash line has no legal basis. China rejected the ruling and doubled down on its activities. This defiance challenges not just the Philippines, but the entire international system. The arbitral award is now a rallying point for the Philippines and its partners. Every joint statement emphasizes upholding the ruling. The coalition's support is about defending a rules-based order, not just geopolitics. Ignoring the ruling would set a dangerous precedent, where power rewrites borders. The world's response here will echo far beyond these waters. The rule of law is on trial. The Philippines' assertive stance marks a dramatic shift from the previous administration. Under President Duterte, rapprochement with China was the policy, sidelining the 2016 arbitral victory. Duterte sought economic ties with Beijing, but Chinese investment fell short and aggression continued. The U.S. alliance was strained, and traditional partners grew wary. The election of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in 2022 marked a turning point. Marcos pledged to uphold the arbitral award and defend every inch of territory. He quickly repaired alliances, especially with the U.S., and built a broader international coalition. The new strategy is transparent, publicizing Chinese aggression and rallying global support. This shift reflects a consensus accommodation failed to protect national interests. A more assertive strategy is now seen as necessary. The Philippines is back on the world stage, defending its sovereignty. The world has taken notice. International support for the Philippines is changing the dynamics in the South China Sea. Each joint patrol and public condemnation raises the cost for Beijing's actions. Experts believe this collective pushback deters drastic moves by China. But increased military presence brings new risks. Accidents or miscalculations could escalate quickly. The balance between deterrence and provocation is delicate. A conflict here would devastate the global economy and trigger a geopolitical crisis. The Indo-Pacific's stability and the world's prosperity hang in the balance. That's why vigilance and unity are essential. The coalition must remain strong and vocal, keeping diplomatic channels open to manage tensions. The world cannot afford to look away. The principles at stake, freedom of navigation, respect for law, rejection of coercion, are universal. The future of the rules-based order may be decided here. The world must stay united for peace and free passage for all.